from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Monday. Let's wrap things up with a little bit of Sister Wives tea. We did a video last week where we talked a little bit about what's going on with Christine. She was looking for a large sum of money that she said she needed for her daughter's procedure. $50,000, in fact. She told her LLR group, Facebook, that she was selling so hard because she needed to come up with the down payment for the procedure. Now, a lot of you guys in comments were just like, whoa, how is this even possible? How did this even cost so much money? What kind of plans do they have? Some of you were accusing her of grifting. And others of you were just like stunned that she would need so much money, and then asking, where is Kody and why hasn't Kody done anything if he is the father of the child that needs this procedure? So it's interesting that we slide on over to this story about Christine and of Meri, because we're going to do kind of a 2-for-1. So one of the things that we've talked a lot about on this channel is that Meri and Kody seem to be in this position of they're not really together, but they are together because of their contract they have for the celestial kingdom because of polygamy. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of, my opinion, but they believe that they cannot actually break their covenant because they are sworn to be together in the next life. And because they have entered into the covenant, they must stay together. Otherwise, if Meri were to leave the family, she effectively leaves her whole family. Okay, so on Instagram, Meri actually has not been wearing her wedding ring, like at all. She's been posting a lot of stuff about how she is only responsible for herself. She can't make other people feel how she feels. She is through the storm. She is moving forward. Insiders connected to her say that she has taken steps towards independence by taking off her wedding ring and working towards financial independence with her company, and as well as losing some weight, I guess. Meri, I think she looks great regardless. It doesn't matter to me, but apparently she's doing things to help her build her confidence, apparently. So on her side of things, she is effectively single, according to an insider who spoke to The Sun. I would say this sort of matches in a way. Now, if you know, I have spoken to an insider with the Browns as well, and they told me about a while back that it's very likely that Kody and Meri are only together sort of in contract, but have no actual relationship beyond that. It's mostly business at this point, and that Meri would be unlikely to leave because of her commitment to her family. She's very close to her mother, who is very much enmeshed in this world. It doesn't mean she couldn't leave, but she might lose all of her family members, and her daughter Mariah might actually not want anything to do with her. And given the fact that she is so close to Mariah, she might be reluctant to actually leave. So people close to Meri say she's basically single. If she were to find someone that she really loved and wanted to be with, she might consider leaving, but at this point she could effectively stay single forever. But this whole idea that they are a lovey-dovey couple is pretty much null and void. I think we already knew that, right? We all knew that, right? Now on to Christine. Now Christine Brown is a unique story because Christine is the third wife. She's actually the only one of the 3 women in this family that have never been legally married. That's right. Meri was legally married at one point to Kody. Janelle Brown was actually legally married at one point to Meri's brother. And Robin has been legally married twice, once to her first husband, who is the father of her 3 children, and now to Kody Brown. Christine Brown is the only one of them that has never actually been married. As a result, she has been single and has had single requirements and responsibilities her whole life. Now, interestingly, the way that the family owns all of their properties, if you go and look at their property records, even though she and Kody co-own their home together, she also is on properties with other wives at Coyote Pass. The only wives that have their own names and no other wives on it are Janelle and Robin. Properties that are jointly owned by Christine and Meri have other wives attached to them, which has a lot of people thinking, well, in the event that one of them leaves, the other property would then be owned or provided over to, say, Janelle or to Robin. There's been a lot of questions about whether or not Christine is going to leave, and there's a lot of suggestions that she is taking steps to do so, and her family family insiders would be supportive of her leaving. Now, think of it this way. Her mom, Annie, actually left this world. Yes, she did. Her mom's sister as well, Kristen Decker, also left this world. She has family members that have successfully left that still maintain connections in a way to the world, but are still not in the world. She maintains communication with her mother, and her mother is still effectively a part of the family. So she has the support if she were to want to leave. And I think in some ways, insiders say that Christine should leave. Now, this is very similar to what I shared with you back in, I don't even know, the winter, that her family members would love her to leave. They would 100% love her to leave. They would love to support her and help her realize that she doesn't have to stay this way. They know that she is unhappy, but she will not admit it because of the covenants in which they've taken, and she's sort of been brainwashed to believe that the only way that she can be happy is in this lifestyle. But there's things here that she's been like, she doesn't want to have the one house idea. She's been wishy-washy because she wants to have her independence. But then she's also very much about like flaunting that she has a relationship with Kody on Instagram by like getting ready for date nights, as well as like talking about him a lot. But then on the show says that she doesn't like it when she has to see the relationships of her other sister wives. So the insider told The Sun that this would be typical of someone trying to find their position in the family, and she is just trying to find or sort of figure out where she fits in her hierarchy of sister wives. It's pretty clear in this hierarchy, wife number 4, Robin, is numero uno. It doesn't matter that he had all these wives before, but Robin is the new wife. She is still having babies. Theoretically, she could. She also has the shortest relationship, and she's his legal wife at this point. Therefore, all of the other wives have kind of lost their space. They've lost their purpose. They're not having children anymore, and they're also almost kind of on their own. Now, she does spend time with Kody, and you see photos of him with the kids, but when it comes to this $50,000 surgery that she says one of her kids need, who we can assume is Isabel, there's no discussion about whether or not Kody is involved in that, and Kody seems sort of like separated from all of this. Like, she is frequently on her Facebook doing her sales, and you never hear her really talk about Kody. You don't really see him. She's basically a single mom. I mean, let's just be honest. She's a single mom, and she's basically raising these kids as a single mom. And even though she's married in name, she has nothing legally in terms of a marriage keeping her with Kody, except for these joint property and sort of their financial entanglements. But beyond that, there's this suggestion that her family members want her to leave because they've left and they're okay. Now, Christine might not leave because she is very close to Janelle, and she's very close to Janelle's kids, and she is also very close to the kids in general, because if you remember way back in the day, she was actually sort of the house mom that took care of the kids, helped raise them, helped put them through homeschool. She was really the mom to these kids, and so if she were to walk away, she's effectively walking away from those kids. It's hard to know in what world if Kody would actually allow any of the wives to continue to have relationships with the wives. The problem is that from all of the polygamists that I have spoken to that have left, is that the fathers that stay or the parent that stays will generally poison the kids against the one that left, because they want to keep their kids in the world. They want to keep their kids indoctrinated into the belief system. And so therefore, they make it so that the one that leaves will no longer be tempted to take out the kids that are in polygamy. So you have this sort of tug of war that will happen. And so what sometimes happens is they just stay unhappily together because they don't want to lose everything, and yet they sacrifice so much. There's hope though, if you do leave, because I've spoken to multiple people that have since left, and they have found husbands that are like far more caring, far more interested in who they are, and far more supportive of what they're doing. Christine is like a fan favorite for her love, for her feistiness, for her like compassion she has towards other people. And I think, based on the fact that she's come so far in the last 10 years, this idea that she could leave is so possible. And same with Meri. Like, if only they realized, like, how much they're worth and how much they actually could accomplish on their own, and they didn't have to stay in the situation, and knowing that they have support from people who are within the community that have left, like, think of how that could change things. The caveat here is Kody. Kody's the leader. Kody's the one that decides. And the way that these covenants are written is, even if they were to leave, they're told that they're going to have to be with him in heaven anyway. So they feel like they have to stay because, well, it doesn't matter. When I go to heaven, I have to be with Kody regardless. One of the polygamists that I was speaking to said there's a story that is taught to them that if a wife leaves, the fathers or the husbands are sort of taught, like, to go get the wife no matter what, right? So if they did leave, he would have to be okay with that. I mean, he wouldn't have to be okay with that. But if he's not okay with it, he's going to take away the whole family. If he is okay with it, he could still take away the whole family. And it's just a crappy situation for them to be in, to think about how they're stuck in a position where they've been brainwashed to believe that the only way that they can be happy and have eternal life is with other wives as their people with them, and that they have to share their husband, and that misery is happiness and jealousy is entitlement, and wanting anything for yourself is wrong. So knowing that Miss Christine is basically independent, is searching for money, and now has family members wanting her to leave, do you think she would actually go? I don't know. I really don't know. They're still tied up with the show, and I honest to God, I don't even believe, but I honestly believe that they would stay together for the show as long as the show is on the air. I think they've been together for such a long time. I think it's different than these other shows where other wives have left because the shows had not been on for such a long time. But they're so financially entangled and enmeshed into the celebrity life that they've built that they would walk away from all of that. And, like, you have to think of that as another carrot that keeps them there. It's so messy, and I just wish that all of this could just be done for them because they all seem utterly miserable. So I would love to know what your thoughts, given what we've heard, given what we know. Do you think that Christine or Meri would ever leave? Do you want them to leave? Do you think they should leave? What do you think about the show holding them into these marriages? What do you think about Kody not helping financially with his kids? What do you think about Christine basically being single and Meri basically being single, and then Robin getting everything? I would love to hear what your comments are and your thoughts below. Bye, guys.